Yo, what's going on guys? You're watching JavaScript for Beginners lesson 45, and in this video we're going to talk about JavaScript libraries. Alright then gang, so essentially a JavaScript library is just a chunk of JavaScript code that we can utilize to help out with our own code. Imagine this scenario. You want to create some kind of drag and drop feature on your website. Well, guess what guys, somebody's already done that. They've already written JavaScript for that, and they've packed it into this thing called a JavaScript library so that we can link to that file and we can use their functionality in our own script. So, what would normally take about 100 lines of code would now take about 2 or 3. We're lazy as JavaScript developers. That's right, we don't want to write something that's already been written, so why not utilize other people's work? That's what JavaScript libraries are all about. Now, there's libraries for pretty much anything you can think of in JavaScript. General purpose libraries, animation, form enhancement, videos, plus tons more. There's literally thousands of libraries on the internet and more added each day. Now, by far the most popular library, and the one I'm going to talk about in this tutorial, is Jquery. Alright guys, so there's a reason Jquery is so popular, and put it simply, it's freaking awesome. It can do a lot of things in JavaScript. So what I've done is come over to jquery.com and I'm going to use this in my JavaScript file. What I want to do is click this download Jquery button right here, and there's 2 ways I can use it. I can either download the Jquery script onto my computer, put it in the directory of my website and link to that, or I can just link to a CDN version of the file. And I prefer to do that most of the time. Now, CDN just stands for Content Delivery Network. And essentially, guys, that means that Jquery are hosting it themselves someplace so that you don't have to. So we can click this link right here. And then I'm going to use Jquery 1. We're going to get the minified version, which is just a smaller, squashed version of the Jquery. It does exactly the same. And when you click on it, guys, you're going to get something a bit like this. It just looks like a load of random characters. Essentially, just some junk squashed up together. That, my friends, is Jquery. So what we're going to do is just come over here and grab this. We're going to copy that URL, and then we're going to link this up in our HTML file so we can use it in our JavaScript. Alright then, so as you can see, I've got my HTML file open right here, and I'm just going to link to that Jquery file I grabbed the link from. So, first thing I want to do is say script, and then I'm going to give this a source attribute because we're linking to an external JavaScript file. I'm going to paste that URL right there and close my tag. And now guys, that is it. We have linked Jquery into this file, so now we can use it within our own JavaScript files. One thing to notice, which is really important, I've loaded Jquery above my own test.js file because test.js file depends on this. And if you've got a file which depends on Jquery, you need to put it under Jquery. Alright then, so once we've done that, I want to talk you through this HTML. Now, dead simple, we've got a div with an ID of content, and within that div I've got some paragraph tags. At the bottom we've got this one that says grab me, and we're going to use Jquery to grab this element and do some things with it. Alright then, so let's jump over to the test.js file. And before we do anything with Jquery, I want to show you how awkward it is to grab this element with a vanilla JavaScript. We'd do something like this. We'd store it in a variable and we'll say my para. And we'll set that equal to document.get element by ID. We want to grab that content ID first because that's where the paragraph is. And then within that we want to say get elements by tag name. And then finally we specified p tag and say we want, which element is it? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We want the 5th element in that array. Alright then guys, whew, that is a bit long-winded just to grab this little puny paragraph tag, right? Well, fortunately Jquery can do it a hell of a lot quicker. And this is one area where Jquery really excels. It can use the DOM to great effect to grab whichever element you want dead easily. So the way we do it is this. We'd say var mypara2, we'll call it, and we'll set that equal to Jquery, which is the $. Whenever we use a Jquery statement, we'd normally start it with a $. And then we're going to use our brackets, and we're going to specify which element we want to grab. And I'm going to grab this one. Now the cool thing with Jquery is we can just pass in a CSS selector. So the CSS selector for this would just be content p pseudo class last child, and that, my friends, is it. It's going to grab this element right here. How easy is that? Now, If you don't know much about CSS or you want to brush up on that, I've got a playlist on CSS on YouTube, and I talk about pseudo classes and different selectors there. So you can learn about that there if you don't understand this. But guys, once you do understand it, it's so much easier to grab elements using Jquery. Alright then, so now we've grabbed that element, let's start using some methods on it. Now Jquery comes with hundreds of methods we can use, and there's tons of cool ones. Now the first one I want to do is the add class method. So let me inspect this element first of all over here, and I'm going to copy and paste this code to store it in the console. Alright, now what I'm going to do is say my para2.add class, and this is a Jquery function or method, and I'm going to give it the class of test. And there, my friends, it's given it the class. Pretty cool, yeah? Likewise, we can say my para2.remove class, and then we'll remove that class. Perfect, now it's gone. Alright then, so what else can we do? We can use a method called fade out. We'll say my para2.fade out, and you just watch this paragraph right here faded out. Pretty cool. My para2.fade in likewise, and watch again, it fades in. Perfect. We can also control the CSS. We'll say my para2.css, and then we pass in an object between the brackets, and here we can control the CSS properties. I'll say position relative, and we'll say color red. And now it's given it these properties in the CSS, color red, and oh, there we go, that's why we couldn't see it, it was highlighted, and position relative. Now we can also animate things, and this is similar to CSS. We'd still pass in CSS attributes or CSS properties that we want to animate, but it does so smoothly. So let's do that. We'll say my para2.animate, and we'll say, we pass in the object left 50 pixels, and you can see now it scooted to the left and it kind of slid over. It didn't just go there, it animated across. Alright then guys, so they are a few of the functions we've got. This is really just touching or scratching the surface of Jquery. There's tons more we can do in it, and certainly loads more than I can cover in one video. So what I am going to do is a whole playlist on Jquery in the future, in fact the very near future, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, if you have any questions about JS libraries in general or what you've seen here, feel free to comment down below. I'll answer all of your questions. Otherwise guys, if you enjoy these videos, don't forget to subscribe and also share and like the videos. I'll see you in the next one.